Thank you. Can we please be seated? I have the singular honor to invite the registrar of our great university, Mr. L.S. Tafa, to establish the protocol for this inaugural lecture. Registrar, sir.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor to establish the protocol. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor to establish the protocol for the inaugural lecture to be delivered by Professor Augustine Ademola. The chief host and chairman of today, the Vice Chancellor of Bells University of Technology, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran. The Deputy Vice Chancellor, the Registrar, the Bursar, the University Librarian, the Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Augustine Ademola, Deans of the Dean of College of Postgraduate Studies, Deans of Colleges, Dean of Student Affairs, Members of Senate, Professors here present, Directors, Heads of Department, distinguished guests, members of the family of the inaugural lecturer, staff and students of Bells University of Technology, Ota, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I have the singular honor to invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Ojediran, for his opening remarks. Vice Chancellor, sir.
While trying to key into the registrar's protocol in my own characteristic manner, I would rather not stand on the protocol so that it does not crash. I would not like to sit on it so that it does not get wounded. So I prefer to romance protocol. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to romance the well-established protocol by the Registrar and Secretary Council. Well, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the singular honor and very great privilege to welcome you all to the 8th inaugural lecture of our own dear university, Bells University of Technology, Ota, to be delivered by Professor Ademola Augustine Kolapo, the Deputy Dean, College of Natural and Applied Sciences. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we gather to celebrate not only the academic excellence or achievements of Professor Kolapo Augustine Ademola, but also the vital contributions of his research to the field of radiation and its implication for human well-being. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we embark on this enlightening journey, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being here today. Your presence underscores the importance of this occasion and reflects our collective commitment to advancing knowledge and understanding in critical areas of science and technology. Ladies and gentlemen, it is instructive to note that this inaugural lecture marks another significant milestone, being the 8th, coming just a few weeks after the 7th in the 20th year of our institution's journey. I think I want to congratulate Professor Ademola once again. The university is 20 years old, and that keys into our vision and your own mission for the university. Bells University of Technology was founded in July 2005 to produce graduates who are technically proficient, ethically grounded, and globally competitive. Therefore, an inaugural lecture such as this exemplifies the university's mission to foster rigorous inquiry, cultivate practical solutions, and translate knowledge into tangible benefits for the benefits of Ladies and gentlemen, today's lecture. The title of today's lecture, Radiation and Human Well-Being, the Double-Edged Sword in Our World, Balancing the Benefits and Risks, is timely and relevant in an age where technology and science play pivotal roles in our lives. Therefore, understanding the dual nature of radiation, its potential benefits and inherent risks is crucial. Professor Ademola's extensive research will definitely illuminate pathways for harnessing the benefits of radiation while safeguarding human health and the environment. Professor Ademola has dedicated his career to exploring the complexities of radiation science. His work not only contributes to academic discourse, but also has practical implications for public health, safety, and policy. Through his research, he has addressed critical questions and gaps about radiation exposure, its effects on human health, and the strategies we can employ to mitigate risks while maximizing the benefits. At Bells University of Technology, we are committed to fostering an environment where rigorous inquiry and innovative research thrive. In this regard, Professor Ademola's lecture will exemplify our dedication to addressing real-world challenges through scientific exploration and collaboration. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I encourage all of us to engage actively with the ideas that will be presented today. Let us listen attentively, ask ourselves thoughtful questions, and reflect on how we can apply this knowledge to enhance human well-being and environmental sustainability. The challenges posed by radiation and its effects on health are complex, and it is through collaborative dialogue that we can find effective solutions. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I want to give my deepest gratitude and appreciation to Professor Ademola for preparing this lecture, which will contribute to our understanding of radiation and its implications for human well-being. Your dedication to research and education inspires us all. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you again for joining us on this momentous occasion. Let us celebrate the pursuit of knowledge and the impact it has on our lives and the world around us. Therefore, I invite you all to listen to Professor Ademola as he shares his insights with every one of us. Once again, I welcome you all to the 8th Inaugural Lecture of Bells University of Technology, Ota, holding today, the 8th of October, 2025, in a place where only the best is good for us. Thank you, and God bless you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me at this lecture to call upon the University Rector to present the citation of Professor Ademola.
Before we continue, I have the penalty of invite Professor Augustine Lampoa to step forward as cited.
Let's prepare for him. Please.
So that's thank you.
Professor Augustine Lampoa is a eminent scholar and a distinguished icon of contemporary academia. He was born to the family of late Francis Ademola and Mrs. Florence Ademola. His father was an educationist and his mother a seamstress. Professor Ademola, for many years, was steeped in values of discipline, resilience, and a passion for knowledge ingrained by his father. His early education transversed several schools due to his father's profession. He started as St. Mary's RCM Primary School in St. State from 1977 to 1979. Then Adeton Methodist School, now Griffin Memorial Primary School, from 1979 to 1980. And concluded primary education at Ibadan Municipal Public Primary School at Apata, Ibadan in 1982. He spent his early secondary school years at Government College, Ibadan between 1983 and 1985, and later at Iseyin District Grammar School, Iseyin, Oyo State, Nigeria, between 1985 and 1997. The highly ambitious Ademola proceeded to St. Aloy's College of Education between 1989 and 1992, where he studied mathematics and chemistry. With this insatiable passion for knowledge, after a national certificate in education, he proceeded to Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Oyo State, for a BTech in pure and applied physics between 1995 and the year 2000. His first set as a field after his NYSC at St. Thomas Batch Freeman Seminary in Equipment, Imo State. He went on to obtain a master's degree in physics in the year 2006 at the University of Ibadan, Oyo State, and thereafter completed his PhD in physics at the same university in the year 2013 as part of the requirement for academics, teaching and research. His professional journey began as an academic in 2003 at the Polytechnic of Ibadan, Shaki campus, now Michael College Polytechnic of Oyo State, as a teaching assistant in the Department of Science Lab Technology. In 2006, he joined Bells University of Technology, Ota, as an assistant lecturer, notably becoming the first full-time staff of the Physics with Electronics program in the Department of Physical Sciences. Thank you. Through dedication and scholarship, he rose steadily, attaining the rank of professor in October 2021. Professor Ademola has been both an inspiring teacher, consultant, and an accomplished administrator within Bells University of Technology, Ota. He has held pivotal leadership roles, which includes Pioneer Director of Quality Assurance Unit, Director of Sports Unit, Acting Head of Department, and now Deputy Dean, College of Natural and Applied Sciences. He has been a member of so many committees, including committees of deans, budget committee, Bells Resumption Committee, and college representative at College City and college board meetings. He is presently a member of Senate Postgraduate Board, Staff Disciplinary Committee, Building and Asset Committee, and Examination Malpractice Committee. He is currently the Editor-in-Chief of Bells University Journal of Applied Sciences and Environment, and also the Congregation Representative at the University Governing Council. University. Also, Michael Campus, South Africa. His professional affiliation includes Nigerian Institute of Physics, the Nigerian Society for Radiation Protection, the UK Society for Radiation Protection, and the International Radiation Protection Authority, among others. Professor Ademola research interests focus on the measurement and the estimation of hazards from exposure to radiation, ionizing and non-ionizing, which spans through radiation protection in patient audits through diagnostic examination involving medical equipment such as X-ray, CAT, ultrasound and MRI, environmental radioactivity, low radiation and health effects in mining areas, building areas, industrial areas, dump sites, food and radon measurement in dwellings, classrooms and offices in Nigeria. In fact, he is among the first researchers to study radon and associated lung cancer in Nigeria dwellings. He has also made notable contribution in characterizing heavy metals in waste and food systems. As a consultant in radiation and environmental pollution, he continues to shape national and international best practices in health and environmental safety. He is a radiation and environmental pollution consultant and researcher. He has supervised 4 PhD research and currently supervising another 4 students at PhD level. Also, he has supervised 4 master's students and 7 postgraduate diploma students and has published over 40 journal articles in national and international journals with significant impact factors
in schools and web of science. His research contributions have been cited more than 700 times on Google Scholar. Professor Demola is married to Mrs. Elizabeth Abosede Ademola, a Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Local Government, Oyo State, and they are blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the 7th Inaugural Lecturer, Professor Augustine Olapo Ademola. 8th, sorry, pardon me.
First Chancellor, the First Chancellor, Deputy First Chancellor, Registrar, Boss, University Librarian, Dean of Colleges, Director of Institute and Centers, Head of Department and Administrative Unit, former inaugural lecturers, distinguished colleagues, my Lord Spiritual and Tempura, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. First Chancellor, sir. It is with profound honor, immense pleasure, and heartfelt gratitude to the Almighty God that I stand before you today to deliver the 8th inaugural lecture of this great university. Truly, the word of Scripture reminds us, let everything that has breath praise the Lord. Today I praise Him for life, for opportunity, and for this year privilege. The University of Technology holds a special place in the educational landscape of Nigeria as the first private university of technology. The Department of Physical Sciences is one of the foundation departments in the College of Natural and Applied Sciences and has contributed significantly to the future of the university by training students in physics, electronics, mathematics, and statistics. Today's occasion is therefore not only a personal milestone for me, but also a historic movement for my department as we present the 4th very inaugural lecture from the Department of Physical Sciences. I remain deeply grateful to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olumide, for granting me this privilege to stand before the distinguished gathering. Sir, your encouragement and leadership have provided fertile ground for the scholar like myself to thrive. It is a privilege I do not take lightly. Looking back, I felt a sense of pride and destiny when I was placed in science class in secondary school. At that time, my community did not enjoy the luxury of a stable physics teacher, but we kept trying, relying heavily on the famous textbook, the Nepal and Papa, which was generously passed down to us by our seniors. With determination, we studied, even without when there is no guidance. So the turning point came in 1995 when I gained admission to Inaugural University of Technology in Bumoto. There, CC's moved from abstract concept in a book to a living subject by exciting applications. My fascination grew particularly towards the Earth-related aspects of physics. This interest was not sustained by outstanding teachers and mentors such as Professor Olumide, Professor Margaret Ademola, and the late Professor Ademola, who each in their own way light up my passion for applied physics. That passion deepened when I completed the University of Ibadan for my master's and doctoral degree in physics, where I encountered inspiring scholars, including Professor Aye Babala, Professor J. Ademola, Professor Henry Biggie, and my supervisor, Professor Vincent Obe. Each of them shaped my academic journey. in Professor Hobert in particular, through our network, secured vital research material with support of the Italian government from our research. And beyond this, she played a pivotal role in facilitating my appointment at the university here, a step that allowed me to balance financial need with academic pursuit. Madam, I owe you an immeasurable debt of gratitude. May God continue to bless you. Today's lecture is built on the journey of growth, learning, and mentorship. It highlights two broad yet interconnected things: the application of feelings for benefit of humanity and hazard that can arise from the use of radiation. Radiation as evolutionary medicine, industry, agriculture, and energy production. At the same time, radiation is a double-edged sword. When uncontrolled of its use, it can inflict serious harm on human health, damage the ecosystem, and threatening the generation to come. So this duality, the benefit and danger, form the central theme of today's discourse. In this lecture, therefore, I will invite you to reflect with me on the balance between the promise and peril, benefit and hazard of radiation. So I'll start my lecture from the structure of an atom. Atom, as we all know, is the basic building block of all matter, and it is the smallest amount of matter that retains the property of an element. So inside the nucleus of an atom, we have the proton and the neutron, which is collectively known as nucleon. These particles determine the stability of a nucleus. So the neutron to proton ratio play a key role in stabilizing the nucleus. So the ratio of neutron to proton is key to determine the stability of the nucleus. So from the first basic element that we know in secondary school, we know that neutron is usually equal to the number of protons. But as we move on from iron to 53, we found out that the ratio is not the same again. So if you look at this diagram now, you can see that this is the ratio. You see the pure line, but there is now a deflection from that straight line. So that is a deviation that we're talking about, and that makes most of these elements unstable. So we don't talk about radioactivity now. Now, radioactivity is the process in which all these unstable atomic nucleus, which are sustained, loses energy by emitting radiation in the form of particles of gamma radiation. And as you can see here, you see the nucleus here, and that is emitting the alpha particle, the gamma ray, and the beta particle. So radiation is a natural part of our environment. It has always been present in our environment, and it will ever be. So every day we are exposed. Every day we are exposed to radiation from the soil, the air, we are exposed to radiation from the soil, the air we breathe, the food we eat, the water we drink, and even the sun above us. So this is a picture of how we are exposed to radiation. You can see we have radiation that is coming from the space that is not cosmic today. We have the cosmogenic radiation. We have the one that is coming from the soil. We have the one that is coming from the medical, that is the chest X-ray. Okay, so we want to talk about the type of radiation. So there are two basic types of radiation. We have the ionizing radiation. The ionizing radiation has the ability to penetrate tissues and deposit its energy. So this one can cause ionization. So when it gets into the cell, which consists of water, it breaks that water into H and OA, which are free radicals. These free radicals can now interact with any material in the blood, be it lipid, be it fatty, be it glycerol, it interacts with them and they develop mutation. So example of these ionized radiation are X-ray, gamma ray, alpha particle, beta particle, and proton. Then we have the non-ionized radiation. The non-ionized radiation is the one we carry about, which is the answer we are carrying all about. I was wondering the last time I went to the market and I saw some people now receiving call and receiving call like this, push the battery to their ear. And I was like, what is really happening? These people don't even know that that is exactly where electromagnetic radiation is coming from. And if one is exposed to this electromagnetic radiation, it can cause sunburn, it can cause cataracts, it can cause asthma. So now what are the sources of this radiation? So the sources are divided into two. We have the natural one and we have the artificial one. The natural one has been the part of the heart, is in formation. It has been here, it's in the formation. So, and then if you look at the diagram there, you see that the one that is natural is 84%. Whereas the man-made hole, which is made up of medical fallout, the nuclear charges made up 16%. So there is no where we are talking about. It is there, and we are going to just be there and manage it. Now, exposure to radiation. Exposure to radiation can be in two ways. According to Onskian, he has been found. So we have the external exposure and we have the internal exposure. The external exposure is the one that is due to radiation outside the body. That is the radiation sources as radioactive material, as pollution, that come from pollution, that come from dioxide, that come from the soil, that now affect the whole body. Where the internal exposure is the air we breathe in, if it contains radioactive particles, and the water we drink, and also the food we eat. So at high exposure, it can cause destabilizing effect due to the certainty that it will occur. That is, if it causes mutation, it will naturally occur. But at low exposure, it causes stochastic effect. That is, it may not appear in the upstream. It stops where one is exposed. So, let's now look at radiation now as our friend. Now, radiation in medicine alone. In medicine alone, radiation is used for diagnosing and treatment of cancer. It helps doctors to visualize the internal part of human body before they now carry out operation. They don't go there and say, okay, yeah, let me just punch you and all those things. So it helps them there. And some of the main diagnostic tools that employ the use of radiation, they are X-ray, CT scan, PET scan, gamma scan, and fluoroscopy, and so on. Now, for the therapeutic uses, radiation is also used in the treatment of cancer by damaging the DNA in the cancerous cell. So there are two main ways in which this can be done. We have the external beam radiation. This is where the machine is outside the body and is now focusing on the tumor, so as to damage the cancerous area. Then we have the other one here, which is the internal one. Here, a small radioactive implant are placed inside or near the cancerous tumor, so that it can focus on that tumor and thereby kill the cancerous cell. Radiation is also used in sterilizing medical equipment, because radiation can penetrate sealed packages and sterilize items without leaving any residue behind, unlike the normal boiling and the chemical disinfectant. And radiation is also used in food irradiation, that is extending the shelf life and reducing risk. For example, when you get to the market now, you just take apple You see that say this apple is fresh. That apple may be here for more than 1 year because it has been irradiated with gamma, a safe irradiation. It can extend the life of that apple. So also when you buy turkey, when you buy all these fish that are coming from abroad, they have been irradiated. So radiation is also applied in industries. Like it is used for checking iron floors to get cracks or weak spots in well. It is also used for geological mapping, and they also use it in determining the water content of the soil. So radiation is also used for nuclear power. That is a nuclear reactor, and then the energy released during nuclear fission. It releases a tremendous amount of heat, which is used to generate steam that drives turbine and produces electricity. This method has been used in many developed countries. We are yet to use it in Nigeria. Now, radiation as a food. As beneficial as radiation is, it also has some probable hazard. The first one is biological effect. That is, ionizing radiation is powerful enough to damage the cell in the body. So how severe this biological effect depends on the amount of radiation exposure. So the duration of exposure and the type of radiation. So from the table here, we can see from 0 to 25, it is not detectable. And from 25 temporary decrease, and when it is above 600, it is eventually death in nearly all cases. So radiation is just like when you are exposed to radiation today, radiation is just like an cocoa tree. When you are using an cocoa tree and you are looking back, it will not fight that day. It will wait maybe until after 20 years before it starts coming out. So that is how radiation is. You are exposed to it now, you are accumulating it. But when it will come, you can now say, maybe it is Ali. We can see from here now that if radiation now falls inside the nucleus, what it does is that you know that there is water, plenty water, but something is in the cell. Then what it does is that just break that water, so that when you break that water, it can react with any organic matter in here and then cause mutation. Radiation also causes bone, as you can see from the second picture here. That is the radiation bone, can cause bone. And if it is in a long time, it increases the risk of cancer. Then there is lung cancer from radiation exposure. You just wonder why our father, they have their bed 2 feet up. That time you think it's because you want to start part of, you have to be careful. So how do we now navigate the risk? The overall goal of radiation prevention is to manage exposure level and minimize health risk. So the principle of radiation prevention is based on 3 fundamental concepts. Among which are alarm principle, regulation of those objects, interrupt system, administrative control, and warning system. Now, as long as we do achievable alarm, this one depends on 3 protective measures, which is telling us time. Don't spend too much time whenever you know that there is radiation. Then maintain distance to radiation. Just like my brother said the last time. He said if you want to dine with your devil, you maintain the distance. So that is it, you maintain that distance. And also again, we use protective measures. That is the one that we use whenever you want to go and do testing. So we use that one to protect us. Now, the regulation of conflict, that is justification. That is, there must be no unnecessary use of radiation, meaning that the the advantage must overweigh the advantage. You can't just go here and say, I want to do it, and just do it. No. The advantage must overweigh disadvantages. Then limitation. You cannot be going there every time. Maybe you are there today, you are there in another 2 weeks. No. There will be limitation to the dose that you can absorb. Then optimization. This process is intended for application to those situations that have been deemed to be justified. Then we have the internal system. The purpose of this internal system is to prevent workers from exposure and injury from high radiation level. So the internal system is there. When there is a leakage there, it does shut off or reduce the radiation emission rate from that radiation producing equipment. Then we have the administrative control. This administrative control includes silage, warning system, and writing procedure to prevent, reduce, or eliminate radiation. As we have here now, we can see here now, radiation area, keep out. Danger and radicalization. Then we have caution. We have airborne activity area. So if you now have all these one here, anybody that is coming here must know that okay, there is radiation here. So we will use the other principle to be safe. Now, the warning system. So the warning system is just like incorporating an alarm into the machine so that when there is leakage or when the radiation that is coming out from that equipment is high, it will quickly alert the people that are working there that there is danger, then they quickly shut it off. Now, contribution to knowledge. Sir, my research in the last 20 decades focused on the measurement and estimation of health hazard from exposure to radiation. The following summarizes a selection of my contribution to the field of radiation and health with specific focus on environmental radioactivity, radon exposure, food safety and toxicology, and medical physics. Now, on environmental radioactivity. In 2008, we investigated the radionuclide content of marble sample from Ibeti mine using thermal technology with sodium and iodide detector. After the analysis, we found that the radionuclides in the marble sample were below the world average. So in conclusion, we conclude that the use of this type of marble in construction of dwelling is safe for inhabitants, contrary to the belief that it emits radiation. It doesn't emit radiation, but it has to be placed indoor, not outdoor. Because when it is outdoor and there is a reaction of something to it, it emits carbon monoxide, which is very dangerous. Now, in 2012, we carried out another study on the radioactivity level in soil sample in 4 Kakaratan sites in Upper Omumedia, southwestern Nigeria. So here it was revealed that the distribution of radionuclide was not uniform and there was no artificial radionuclide detected. The mean annual effective dose was found to be 87.5, which is about 25% higher than the world average of 70, and also higher than the average of 62.9 microsifert for southwestern city in Nigeria, according to Farani et al. In 2014, we carried out the activity concentration of natural radionuclide in sources from gold mining area in Itagumodi, Ilesha, Osun State, using thermal spectrometry method. Itagumodi was divided into 5 for this research. Was divided into 5 for this research. 4 of the divisions were on the gold mining site, and the 5th one was about 10 kilometers from the mining site. So we found out that the activity concentration in the mining site is higher than that in the living area. The mean annual effective dose in the mining side was 81.3, which is about 16% higher than the world average, meaning that there is high level of natural radionuclide in the mining area. Now, radon measurement. Knowing fully well that radon and progeny is the second leading causes of cancer after smoking. Now, Robert et al., that is my supervisor, we conducted a survey of radon using passive radon monitor, that is the CR39, according to Columbia Resin 39, which is a solid state neutral detector in offices in the University of Ibadan campus to estimate the effective dose to the occupant over a period of 3 months. This is the first research on radon in Nigerian dwellings. So, the value of radon concentration obtained were below the upper. It was high, but it still below the upper limit of 1,500. So, and the mean effective dose to the public from the radon was calculated to be 1.85. So, the result obtained is higher than the mean value of 0.049 milliliters that was estimated from the effective dose due to solid activity in matter. Therefore, the risk from radon is found to be higher than that from the outdoor terrestrial radiation. An indoor radiation survey was carried out in 77 dwellings in 10 districts in Oyo State in 2011. So, CR39 were placed in the bedroom and living room and were exposed for 6 months to measure radon concentration. So, the annual effective dose and the excess lung cancer risk were determined. So, radon concentration in the living room, and the bedroom was the same. That is 259 becquerel per meter cube. The effective dose also 6.5. And the average cancer risk was 25.2 per million person yearly, meaning that 25 people out of 1 million are likely to contact lung cancer. So therefore, the dose received by the dweller is about 3 times higher than the world average. In 2021, my team led by Ginele investigated the concentration of radon and some potential toxic elements in drinking water in Lota. In this case, we used RAD7. We used RAD7 for the radon analysis, and we used atomic absorption spectrometer for the toxic elements in our lab here. So it was observed that 15% of the sample have radon concentration above the action level. So the concentration of lead, selenium, and arsenic were higher than the world WA2 permissible limit. So the study revealed high concentration of some potential toxic elements in water of the study area, which may have some deleterious effect on the consumer. Also, my team led by the in 2022 measured radon concentration and estimated excess cancer risk in well water samples along the Waraja, Fewara Fort in southwestern Nigeria. So these forts come from Zuberu, and when they get there, it divides into two. Some go to Shaki, and the other one come to Ijebu. So along that place, we collected well water between 50 and 150 meters at the fault line. Then RAD7 was used for the measurement of the water sample. So radiation dose due to infection and the inhalation of radon were determined as well as cancer risk. So radon concentration of K is higher in about 70% of the water sample than the recommended limit. So the excess cancer was also found to be higher than the world average. Therefore, it is recommended that deep wells should be dug far from the fault lines, and systematic measurement of radon level be carried out before consumption of water. especially in Warada. Now, radioactivity and heavy metal in dog sites now. In 2015, we studied in the natural radionuclide and heavy metal in some major dog sites in Lagos and Ogun State to evaluate the level of radionuclide and heavy metal they may contain. So for these 5 popular waste dog sites in the 2 states, Olusosun, Ojo, Igadu, Olusosun, Ojo, Igadu, Ogijo, and Agara was selected for this study. The radionuclide analysis was performed using 7.6 by 7.6 sodium iodide thallium detector, and potentially toxic metal were analyzed using flame atomic absorption spectrometer in our lab here. So the result obtained showed that potassium 40 concentration is higher than the world average in all the samples. And the analysis of the heavy metal concentration indicated the presence of cadmium, zinc, and copper in the soil sample, and how their concentration above the natural range in the soil. These metals are toxic at higher concentration and may cause severe problems with prolonged exposure. In 2021, my team led by Olawi measured indoor radiation building in the facility of dog sites in Lagos, Nigeria, to estimate the health hazard. So 8 dog sites, that is 4 dormant and the 4 active dog sites, were chosen for this study. So indoor radiation was measured using this, the Columbia SC39, which is a solid state nuclear detector. So the paper were exposed in 50 houses, detected within 0 to 100 meters away from the dog site. The data were exposed for 3 months. In the active dog site, we find radiation concentration to be 169, and in the dormant, we find it to be 234. So the comparison of the concentration in the data show that the building within 0 to 50 meters from the dog site, the highest radiation concentration, while building within the 50 to 100 meters show low radiation concentration. Of course, building within 50 to 100 meters also show high level, high value, which may be due to poor combination, building material, and water usage in the building. So the annual effective dose in the active site was 3.6. Where in the dormant it was 4.5. So cancer risk in the active is 8.7, and in the dormant it was 12.47 per million people yearly. So the study revealed that the concentration of radiation in the building varied with distance, ventilation, and type of dump site. So it was concluded that the residents, irrespective of distance, may be at risk of contracting lung cancer due to continuous radiation exposure from the dump site. This research also let us know that when we now say dump site, we say dormant dump site, they are not dumping anything there, and people started building there. That is exactly when they start to dump resin there, that is when they start to exterminate from the ground. So we must be careful in doing that. Now, radiation in medical diagnostics. In 2007, Open a call calculated the entrance windows in routine diagnostic X-ray examination in some hospitals in southwestern Nigeria in adult patients undergoing 6 routine projections. That is the chest post anterior, the chest lateral, the skull anterior, the skull lateral, the abdomen, and the pelvis across the several hospitals. So the exposure parameter, that is the two potential, current time protocol, and patient demographic, that is the age, the weight, and height, were collected from each hospital for the projection considered. So entrance skin dose was estimated using mathematical function, and the results were compared with the international reference level. So the result of this study showed a wide range of patient dose, both within and between hospitals. The mean ESD were mostly below the international reference level, except for sport protection, which exceeded the basic aim. The study revealed that factors contributing to those variations include radiographic technique, equipment performance, type of X-ray generator, and the image processing system. The study noted that it is important to develop a local diagnostic reference level to improve patient radiation safety. In 2017, Ademola conducted a study on the effect of two potential and the current time protocols. Now, these two potential, whenever you want to go for X-ray, they have to set the two potential and they have to tell the current that is coming from that machine. So we now investigated that, okay, what will it be? Because we did that one in test X-ray, and which is a post-anterior, which is mostly or widely performed in Nigeria. So we now measure the entrance skin dose at 80, 100, and 120 kVp, and using mathematical function, we calculated our entrance skin dose. The result indicated that patient dose resorption will be achieved by appropriate combination of both kVp and MAS. The optimal terms depend on the part of the body being imaged, the size of the patient, and the type of information required. Sir, I want to say at this junction that whenever we go for X-ray, most of our radiographers, they always want to see clear picture. So in that case, they use too many currents, so just to give a clearer image, whereas it is very dangerous to the patient. A study by Ademola and Adejumobi measured natural occurring radioactive material and some toxic metal in 5 types of vegetables: ugu, ewedu, tomatoes, cheche, and water leaf, grown around 2 cemented industries in the state. That is the one at Ibeshi and the one at Iwebu. So in this study, we use sodium iodide detector for the radionuclide, and we use atomic absorption spectrometer for the heavy metal. It was found that ugu has the highest radionuclide level than other vegetables, although it is below the Oscar limit, indicating no radiological hazard. So heavy metal concentration, however, show potential risk, with hazard indices ranging from 1.29 to 2.21, exceeding 1, which is the norm, particularly in tomato. These studies support firm regulations for food safety near industrial sites. In my study with Badayega in 2021, we assessed the natural radionuclide in chicken feed and meat from 5 Lagos poultry farms and evaluated the risk from the consumption of chicken. So the production of self-produced feed, the production of self-produced feed by farmers that include addition of some mineral to stimulate growth was the reason behind this research. So 10 products and 30 feeds were collected and analyzed using standard procedure. So we found out that the chicken meat and feed show meat radionuclide activity below the limit, and the mean value of the transfer factor were also below 1 for potassium alone, but higher than unity for radium and thorium in starter feeds and grower. So this means that feeding chicken with this starter and finisher feed may pose the consumer to the danger of overexposure to this. So this study provides baseline data and support farm feed regulation. Conclusion. Regulation is undoubtedly a double-edged sword that plays a critical role in advancing medicine, technology, and energy protection. However, when used irresponsibly or without sufficient remuneration, it can be full, causing harm to human health and the environment. To fully harness radiation benefits while minimizing its risks, society must maximize the benefits, especially in medicine and in clean energy production. Then they must control exposure using the another principle and using the justification here. Then the public should be educated so that when there is a awareness, it will display the mind by ensuring that meditation is used as a tool, not a trend, when used responsibly. Recommendation. The government should allocate more resources to establish and equip diagnostic and radiotherapy center across the country with the state-of-art equipment and technology that can rival developed countries. Government should invest in the training of personnel that handle radiation and also develop research in that area. Regular workshops should be organized on local government basis to educate and create interest in the public about radiation hazard in their community. Acknowledgement. To God be the honor, glory, and adoration for taking me this far. All my thanks and gratitude go to the Almighty God, my Creator. I will ever be thankful to Him for His divine blessing and mercy throughout my life. This inaugural lecture represents a critical point in my academic trajectory. The energy that propelled me to this medium is not mine alone, but a collective force, amplified by the contribution of many individuals and institutions. And this will express my deepest gratitude to those who have acted as catalysts, conductors, and stabilizers in my journey. I am particularly grateful to the Vice Chancellor, Professor for the golden opportunity to present this 8th inaugural lecture of this university today. Your leadership and vision has ensured that our scholarly endeavor resonate at the frequency of progress. Thank you very much. I am equally grateful to all the management team whose meticulous planning for this lecture has been precise and skillful. Your effort has transformed this event into a high energy donation of ideas, sparkling inspiration across our community. I really appreciate you. I am truly grateful to the Dean, College of Natural and Applied Science, Professor V. Natashi, as well as all past deans, Professor I. Babalola, Professor I. O. Fawole, and late Professor Badibo Osomebo for their mentoring support and encouragement. My heartfelt appreciation also goes to all the professors, especially Professor Kufuriji, and all members of staff of the College of Natural and Applied Sciences. Thank you all for support and for partnership. My appreciation goes to my incredible parents, late Ademola Francis and Mrs. Effie Ademola. Your belief in me gave me courage to go on overcoming challenges and achieve my dream. I'm grateful for your constant presence in my life. May the soul of Ademola Francis continue to rest in perfect peace. Amen. My brother, Dr. Femi Ademola, your presence and support are keeping my life in balance and driving me to pursue excellence with all the creative making. I appreciate the unwavering love, support, and guidance extended to me. I really appreciate you. My brother, Usola Ademola, and sister, Bolade Ademola Ademola, I thank you for your love and support and being here. Thank you very much. I also appreciate the family of Dr. Olato Anthony, Mr. Wale Afolabi, the Olaudes, the Adeole, my in-law, and the Ajayis who are here today. Thank you very much. My academic path has been guided by mentors, directing my trajectory with precision. I extend my gratitude to my supervisor, Professor Obed R.I., my great mentor, Professor Babalola, Professor O.M. Mustafa, Professor L.M. Jibili, Professor Tunde Oni, Professor Akiloyi, and Professor Wahab. Your mentorship has been a source of intellectual energy, propelling me toward these milestones. So, to my colleagues and collaborators in the Department of Physical Sciences at Baylor University, you are delighted that you made my professional path. I sincerely appreciate the head of the department, Dr. A.K. Bello, and everyone in the department. Also, everyone at the Department of Computer Science and Information Technology, I recognize and value each one of you. Thank you for your solidarity. I'm grateful to my students and mentees, especially my PhD students, Dr. Henry Olawe, Dr. Pauline Jirele, Dr. D.A. Dosubu, Mr. Kayode Ajayi, Mr. Dada Joshua, Mr. Adelulu, Mr. Ogundele, and Mr. Iyade. I'm also grateful to all my postgraduate students, MSc and PhD, all my undergraduate students, both past and present. I'm deeply grateful for your contribution to my research and for the privilege of guiding your own scientific trajectory. I especially acknowledge the presence of my friends and colleagues at St. Mary, RBC Primary School, Zay District Grammar School, LAUTECH 1995 SET, also friends and colleagues from Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Lagos State University, Convenant University, University of Ibadan, College of Agriculture in Igora, my College of Polytechnic Shaki, and all other institutions. Thank you very much. I'm appreciative of the brotherhood and friendship of Professor O.S. Ahmed, Professor Oluri, Professor Omoike, Professor Chio, Professor Daramola, Professor Adesade, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Dr. and Mrs. Tutu, Dr. Akinwumi, Dr. Ebeyade Titus, Dr. Otula, and so many of them. I'm especially grateful to Honorable Asak Fadel, the chairman of the Ishemi local government, and Honorable Adiola, member of the House of Assembly for their solidarity. He should be here but for those one bad thing that occur, and pray that God give him truth to their Amen. So I owe a debt of gratitude to my professional body and organization that power my research here. To NIP, Nigeria Institute for Physics, Nigeria Society for Radiation Protection, UK Society for Radiation Protection, and the International Radiation Protection Authority to support and sustain my investigation in radiation and air physics. My application also go to the committees of frame and ceremonial, especially Dr. Felicia Yusuf, the University Nigerian, Dr. Alao, Dr. Adegoke, Dr. Akinwumi, Dr. Odesola, Dr. Adekola, and Dr. David Ogunka, who took their time to remove debris from my write-up. I thank you all for your support. My family has been the bedrock of my stability. A big thank you to my spouse, Mrs. E. Adimola. For your unwavering support, which has enabled me to overcome many life challenges. You are the best that ever happened to me. You are my closest friend and companion. I promise to cherish and love you always. I am blessed with incredible children. Each are only person in their own way. I cherish the love shared with one another and hope you will carry the love and connection throughout your life. Thank you for your curiosity, understanding, and deeply fulfilling love for me. I love you beyond words. Finally, well-wishers, and all who have crossed my path. Your contribution, whether through intellectual discourse or simple encouragement, have added to the brilliance of this moment. Your support has ensured that my work resonates within the field of religion and ethics. I'm eternally grateful and looking forward to continuing this journey and letting the power of faith to illuminate the path ahead. These are my references. Thank you very much.
Can we have our seats, please? This is a well-delivered lecture. Can we once again give a round of applause to Professor Adebola? Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me once again to invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Oludele Okediro, for his remark.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you've been treated to a sumptuous meal of radiation. I was telling the photographer to move away because the region I come from is so the vice chancellor who gets in photograph everything will have to reduce that. Distinguished gentlemen, Professor Adebola has gone to town. Really, when we were going round and around looking for radio activity, we thought he was joking. He was looking for radio all over North sides, even in deep well and in different places and on farms. Today, the combination of all this work and the benefits to mankind and also the hazards. Thank you so much for doing such a great job. Please give an round of applause for him. He deserves it. He deserves it. Deservedly. Go from Asia, Tibet, Okyogo, Ibadan. Altar. The water and earth must be tested so that we can get the level of religion across. Thank you very much. I'm quite glad to note that Professor Adebola's mother is here. I thought she could ask her to stand. Someone to produce someone like this needs to know, Mama, please can you rise on your feet? Yeah. Thank you very much, Mama, for bringing such a wonderful person to the world. Today is a great day for you. I'm sure you are happy. Thank you very much. His wife is here too. You love her. You love her every day. Just to beat up. Madam, thank you for coming. Please rise on your feet also. Today is a thank you for backing up the radiation group, the Christian group at home. And his brother, Dr. Well, he has said a lot about you. It's nice to see you. Thank you for giving such a massive support. Physical, financial, and moral support. Thank you for being a true brother. God bless you. Well, our children have already recognized, and I want to do that for you. All of you, children in the girl, all of them. Okay. The lady, please, that's Ms. Adimola, stand up. Thank you. God bless you. I've mentioned this before about others who are seated. Because while he was going from dump site to the wells and to other places, these were the ones who were giving the back. And all your research and investigations have concluded what you have today. How toxic disease we now know. What we need to move away from, we now know. Thank you for letting us and educating us on this. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you very much for listening carefully to this healthcare scholar. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Permit me once again to invite the Vice Chancellor again and the inaugural lecturer to step forward with the Vice Chancellor.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is from Belgium University of Technology, an award of excellence. And your excellence has been celebrated today in all these achievements. Presented to Professor Olapo Augustine Adimola for a well-delivered 8th inaugural lecture, well put together, thoughtfully put together, well written, and well delivered. On your topic, education and human well-being, the double-edged sword in our world, balancing benefits and risks. Congratulations. This does not contain these are looking from God's present because they mark this 8th inaugural lecture. 8 is the sign of new beginning. Those are not new beginning for you. Congratulations.
Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are gradually coming to the end of the program. But before we close, let me express our sincere appreciation to the Vice Chancellor, Professor Jeremiah Olubile, for providing the enabling environment for this lecture to hold. The Vice Chancellor, sir, thank you very much. May I also express our sincere appreciation to the management team here present, the principal officers starting from the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Professor Alisa, the University Professor, Mr. Shila Beko, the University of Nigeria, Yusuf, all the deans here present, all the professors here present, all our distinguished guests who have come back and here to grace this occasion. I also thank the families of the inaugural lecturer for supporting him and for coming to attend this lecture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and we once again rise and give a sounding round of applause to Dr. Thank you. I will be seated. So this is my own way of thanking the inaugural lecturer by giving him this round of applause. Incidentally, also Ademola and myself are from the same village, and I told him that the inaugural lecturer is going to be delivered by my humble self, and this is going to return to my church. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the lecture. I thank all of you for coming to make this occasion. Before we take the national anthem and the university anthem, the principal officers and the days and directors will move to the office of the Vice Chancellor for that refreshment after this program. Thank you very much. Shall we rise for the university anthem? Currently remain standing while the attending procession leave the venue led by the Vice Chancellor. Please remain standing.
Let's clear the aisle as the Vice Chancellor leads, followed by the Deputy Vice Chancellor, the inaugural lecturer, the registrar, the professor, the University of Nigeria, and the deans. Let's clear the aisle. We thank you for attending the 8th inaugural lecture of our great university.